So far, 2020 hasn't exactly been a great year for giving things. Mainly things have been taken away instead of given to us. I mean, I'm pretty fucking sure even jolly old St. Nicholas himself, Santa Claus, got laid off because of coronavirus. But it's not to say that there isn't someone still picking up that torch. Amongst the ruins stands a hero, Xaviant Games. Xaviant Games is unfortunately not a household name, though I think they should be. Xaviant Games are the masterminds behind the Culling franchise. The Culling, the first game, was perhaps one of the first Battle Royale games that really helped kickstart the Battle Royale craze, so you can really thank them for that fucking hemorrhoid that's plagued the gaming industry for the last couple years. And the Culling has had a troubled history ever since its first successful game. And make no mistake, it was a successful and pretty decent game in my opinion, but something happened. That success must have went to their head and took a shit. It's like they elected Patrick Star to lead them from that point forward. It's like aliens infiltrated the studio and are only pretending to understand how humans work. Their decisions they've made have been laughably fucking dumb. They're like the world's worst court jester because they lack self-awareness, but you still can't help but laugh at them. It's fucking crazy. So before I talk about their massive, huge new announcement today, I'd like to start with the beginning, where things really went wrong. They made a lot of the weird decisions with updating the culling. Eventually the player base started to fizzle out, and then in 2018, they released the infamous Culling 2, the worst video game launch of all time and perhaps the most disastrous launch of anything ever in the history of humanity. And I mean that in all sincerity. A fucking dude trying to sell rats during the Black Plague probably saw more success on launch than the Culling 2 did. I made a whole video talking about this when it came out because it truly was a historic moment that I got to partake in, because what happened is the Culling 2 developers, Xaviant, decided to release a surprise trailer for the Culling 2 out of nowhere with no mention of a sequel ever, and they completely changed the game. The Culling was focused on melee, the Culling 2 was basically PUBG clone if they tried to port it to the Game Boy. It was less functional than Big Rig's over-the-road racing, and was less successful than Lawbreakers. This fucking game is this unholy amalgamation of filth and diarrhea with a little bit of coding thrown in. But not only was it a game no one was asking for and a product nobody wanted ever, no one had even once had like a singular thought of, wow, wouldn't it be cool if the Culling was kind of like PUBG but with less features? But it also just didn't work. That's why I say it's less functional than Big Rig's over-the-road racing. The game wouldn't start because when the game launched, its all-time peak was 249 players, ever. And within 19 hours, it was down to one player, me, when I made the video on it. I was literally the only player in the game at one point. I was the last fucking stand, the last holdout of the Culling 2. I was legend. I was Will Smith in that bitch, in that post-apocalyptic fucking toilet bowl. It was a truly serene experience, but again, within 19 hours the game had literally one player, and it was me just making the video talking about the fucking catastrophe they unleashed. So the game was dead on launch. You needed 30 players to start a match, but you could never get 30 players because there wasn't 30 players that owned the game for more than an hour. So I did a little bit of research, and I think across the entire lifespan of the game on PC, only 8 matches ever started. There was only enough players for 8 matches to have ever gone on in the entire lifespan of the game. It was an unbelievable and unmatchable disaster of a video game that they eventually pulled the plug on nobly and refunded everyone, which they absolutely needed to do. In response to the complete and utter failure of the Culling 2, they decided to dance on the Culling's corpse by re-releasing the first Culling and calling it Culling Origins. They released that later that year in September, I believe, and it still didn't work. Even with their free-to-play model they implemented into it, it still couldn't find a stable player base and was shut down in early 2019. So within 1 year, they had shut down 2 games completely. And now, that brings us to today. Now we enter Act 3 of this incredible fucking play that they've created at Xaviant. Today, out of nowhere yet again, they've announced that the Culling is coming back. The original Culling is coming back, but with a catch. It's only going to be on Xbox, and you have to pay $5.99 for it, and you only get to play 1 match a day for free. And for free is wrong because you still paid for the game, so you're not exactly getting anything for free. But you get 1 match a day for free, and if you want to play more than 1 match a day, you have to buy token packs to play more than 1 match a day. It comes with a lot of different options here, and the monetization model is perhaps the most bold approach to anything I've ever seen in my life. It's somehow even worse than a lot of these fucking mobile game models. It's even more predatory, greedy, and out of touch. It's so fucking silly. This makes AOL look like the forefront of innovation and listening to people. It is so out of touch, I can't even wrap my head around it. It's like an arcade game, but instead of just putting, quarters in for the arcade game tokens, you have to buy the arcade cabinet itself and then put in the tokens. It's fucking nuts. So here's a breakdown from the developer diary kind of outlining exactly what they're pitching here, and it is so fucking genius. It is the best idea I've ever seen. If you were ever looking for something to put money into and get nothing in return, but you didn't feel like just throwing it in the trash, this is the exact receptacle you can use. So if I may, let's just break down the anatomy here of this announcement. Let's go ahead and talk about the thought process. So the main problem with the Culling and the Culling 2 was no player base. I mean, the Culling 2 literally just couldn't even fucking start because there weren't enough players playing it. And when they went free to play, they still didn't have enough players playing the game to keep it going. So how did they solve this problem? Well, they put up a paywall. That should work. They couldn't give the fucking game away for free and have people playing it. So what the fuck do they think is going to happen by making you pay for it, and pay for it, and pay for it, and pay for it, and pay for it? You are actually paying to not play. You're paying to not play, to pay to not play, to pay to not play again. Because there's not going to be enough people that are going to start these matches. Unless they're fine starting with 2 people, I don't think you're going to find a match. It's a bold statement, but I'm going off historical evidence to point to this. So what could very well happen is you'd pay the $1, $5 or whatever to play an extra match, and it might not start because no one else would have paid for it. So you just paid money to stand in the waiting room in purgatory, in this fucking video game limbo. But not only that, there is no shame from this company re-releasing the same game for the 3rd time now. This is like that band, like Trapped, who has one song that they keep riding the high of and just using that to just ride on the fucking coattails and constantly re-releasing that shit. They just keep bringing this motherfucker back to make it worse each and every time. The developer's face in the video says it all right here. Nobody has even an iota of excitement surrounding the Culling coming back, especially with a model like this. All the goodwill the company had is completely gone and has been gone since fucking the first Culling's initial launch. To anyone out there that says EA is the worst video game company out there, I have to spit on you. Because you're very fucking wrong. It's Xaviant Games, but they're comically bad. EA I can definitely get behind with some of that like evil, greedy, anti-consumer shit, but Xaviant, they're like that supervillain in the old comic books that they're just kind of there to laugh at. They're not exactly like a bad supervillain. They're just very misguided and, shitty. It's like harmlessly evil. I feel so bad for the Culling because, like I said, the first Culling was a good game, but that must have just been the biggest fluke ever because everything since then has been a disaster for the Culling and Xaviant. They just absolutely cannot even accidentally make a decision that makes sense. It's fucking crazy. I also do believe that Xaviant Games serves as the poster child, the epitome of ineptitude, the exact thing to strive not to be. You should look at Xaviant Games and then say, well, we've done a lot of fucked up shit, but at least we're not Xaviant Games. We haven't gone that far. They give you a lesson in the worst practices to implement into your pretty successful franchise. They show you how to speedrun killing a very popular game. It's wild to me. But hey, if you're excited, May 14th, Xbox launch for the Culling, only $5.99, 1 match a day. Plenty of tokens to go around, so get fucking excited to once again not be able to start a match, I imagine. I could be wrong. Maybe it'll have a booming player base of just Culling fanatics that have been scratching their necks like a meth addict waiting for their fix. They need the Culling, and they don't care that they only get 1 match a day. They'll tap into their mom's credit card to get 4 matches a day, 5 even. The sky's the limit. Crazy. Crazy times we're living in with the Culling coming back again. So I just wanted to talk about this because I truly do think the Culling and Xaviant Games is the best joke that keeps coming back from the video game industry. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah.